So, a few weeks ago, I got to see an advanced screening of How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World. While this was a public offer through Fandango and there were many other people there, I got to pretend that I was a real critic for 90 minutes, but that's a digression. Yes, the finale of the How to Train Your Dragon series is finally here after a few years of going dark. Now that the movie is being officially released soon, I get to talk about what I thought of it. How to Train Your Dragon 3 is the ultimate swan song for the series and for DreamWorks themselves, for better or for worse. Part of this video will be a review of the film, and following will be a discussion of what happens next for DreamWorks. How to Train Your Dragon is a very interesting film series to witness. Not only are the movies very simple, but their consistent high quality is both a joy to watch and ironic considering it's coming from DreamWorks of all places, the kings of inconsistency. The first one was near perfect with a couple of flaws. The second one was even closer to perfect, but it still had some minor problems. But for the third one, I can confidently say, yeah, this one isn't perfect either. I'll be tackling the problems I had first just so I can sabotage my own video as quickly as possible because where's the fun in this otherwise? From the outset, this movie has the feel of one that's been rewritten numerous times. There are major aspects of the characters' lives that are dropped later in the movie with a single exchange of dialogue, certain scenes feel weirdly mashed together, and the movie jumps from point to point with little breathing room. Granted, this also means that the movie is rarely slow, the only moments being a couple of scenes that go on just an inch too long, but it still means that it'll give you a bit of whiplash. It might also be a result of the movie trying to juggle too many characters, as there are side characters from previous entries that had major plot significance being reduced to maybe 3 or 4 lines in this film. Add that to a very abrupt third act with a very quick ending, and on paper you have a movie that struggles to keep up with the originals. However, for people who have seen these movies, this sort of thing is common. The first two also had moments that were supposed to be extreme character points but are told with the same simple procedure as accidentally knocking over a glass of milk. This one seems to follow suit, just with the added problem of being very predictable. It took me a while to be satisfied with the ending, as the movie at first seems like it wants to have its cake and eat it too. Thankfully, after better understanding the film, I can see what it was trying to convey. What you expect is pretty much what you're gonna get. That being said, what the film manages to nail, it nails hard. One of the first things that hit me was just how good the script was. Every comedic beat and most emotional beats hit as hard as they can, with jokes that made the packed theater I was in burst out laughing. While I complained about some characters getting sidelined, the flip side is that every character in the main cast is given ample screen time. The original dragon riding crew all have their moments to shine and moments to make the audience laugh. Hell, the twins have several scenes for both humor and plot's sake. The twins! The characters that collectively had about 7 lines of dialogue in the first film. Emotional moments between Hiccup and Astrid are great as well, and even flashbacks to Hiccup as a child with his father Stoic are some of the most hard-hitting in the film. While I said that the pacing of the movie was weird, there are still numerous scenes in the movie that are a masterclass of writing and storytelling. There's one scene in the movie that goes on for about 5 minutes with just Toothless and the Light Fury. There's no dialogue, no obvious messaging, but the scene perfectly conveys what the dragons are trying to do. It also sports a really damn good villain. While the last movie's villain was a bit lacking, Grimmel in this film is dastardly devious, and the movie draws parallels to himself and Hiccup as they're both master tacticians. While it sort of falls off near the end in my opinion, the conflict in the movie feels truly dire and desperate, with every furthering of the plot becoming even more tense as the main heroes flounder about what to do. As for animation and score, I was blown away. Besides the standard flying fare, the setting is vibrant, intricate, and designs of landscapes and characters are beautiful. Seeing the hidden world in the film fully realized was actually astonishing. The level of beauty and creativity when it came to that setting really sold me on this movie's visual design. Flight sequences are as stunning as they have ever been, and complementing it is the film's fantastic score. Most scenes involving breathtaking visuals or subtle moments of sadness are heightened by the soft, somber music that accompanies each scene. The movie is downright packed full of great comedy, great heart, and a satisfying finale that makes sure that this is the last time we'll see Hiccup and crew. I know I started this video out on a bit of a sour note, but that's honestly because when I first came out of the theater, those issues were bumping around in my head more than I thought. But after coming home and ruminating, I've decided that the issues I had were outweighed by the sheer beauty and heart that How to Train Your Dragon 3 has. The script is perfectly written, the acting is on point, the visuals are captivating, and most of all, the movie shows an actual, definitive end. For that, I'm grateful to the crew at DreamWorks and director Don DeBlow for giving it their all to give the series its well-deserved rest. But this is where the or for worse part comes in that I said at the beginning. The How to Train Your Dragon series is an animated film trilogy that competes with the likes of Toy Story. What? Toy Story 4? What are you talking about? That's not real. There's no question that the films are great and fantastically made. What I mean by the ultimate swan song for DreamWorks is that it's a fitting finale to this beloved series. Unfortunately, what I also mean by swan song is what comes afterward for the company is unsure. For those who don't know, back in 2016, DreamWorks in its entirety was purchased by NBC Universal for $3.8 billion, and the person originally set to oversee DreamWorks following the merger was Chris Meledandri. Don't know who that is? He was the person that produced this. While he later declined to oversee the studio because it turns out that there is a god after all, he will still act as a major consultant. DreamWorks has had quite the busy couple years with the acquisition, but why am I bringing this up in the first place? Because the Dragons series was arguably the last thing DreamWorks had. The company has been in a weird spiral of mediocre film after mediocre film, and now that the final Dragons movie is out, it's hard to say what the company can do from here. Considering their next few movies are sequels that no one really asked for, like Trolls 2 and The Croods 2, it would be accurate to say that they're playing it safe. Like a certain other company they're related to now. What makes this film kind of weird is that it serves not only as a great end to a fantastic trilogy, but it is also very likely the last time we'll see something like this from DreamWorks. Universal said that a Shrek and Puss in Boots film reboot is in the works, with Meledandri seemingly being a big part in both projects. This is a little worrying because the Shrek series ended with an actual conclusion, only to be dug up by the big yellow personifications of marketing themselves. Dragons 3 establishes itself as the definitive end, but with Universal and Meledandri becoming more involved with the studio, it's difficult to say for how long that will last. I'm hoping that the Dragons series is laid to rest, as The Hidden World is definitely a satisfying conclusion to a tale a decade in the making. The movie officially opens worldwide on February 22nd, so be sure to catch a viewing when it releases soon. How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World is the epic conclusion that the series deserves, and despite its minor shortcomings, the film does all it can to make you laugh, make you cry, and make you satisfied.
Now that's a king.
You're right, bud. It's time.
Well, look who it is.
Hey guys, yeah, 2 videos in 2 months? What? That's crazy. That's crazy talk. After a year of doing absolutely nothing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, thanks. I'm not gonna tell you to do anything else because you're your own person. You can do what you want. But if you like this video, then you're a cool guy. Even if you've done weird stuff, you're still a cool person if you like my video. It's like you brush your hands and it's all gone. I'm Jesus. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that take.